The Jaguar is the largest cat species in the Americas and the third largest in the world after the tiger and the lion. The Jaguar's powerful bite allows it to pierce the carapaces of turtles and tortoises, and to employ an unusual killing method, it bites directly through the skull. When a Jaguar is black, it is called panther, like the black version of the old world cat leopard.
The Argentinian car builder Alejandro de Tomaso called his famous car Pantera. That was very smart, because the car was built in Italy. So my question is, did he call the car after the black Jaguar or after the black leopard? But Sir William Lyons renamed his car make as S after World War II, after the biggest New World cat, Jaguar. Although an American cat, some US Americans mispronounce Jaguar as Jaguar.
So why do they do that? Because of the lock between the G and the U. No, ladies and gentlemen, in the United States, the lock is to open and close the boot, or as you say, the trunk, with a key. It was not intended as an eye.
But thanks to the United States, Jaguar is still a car make. And this episode of Driving With Gloves is about the car which saved the British car make Jaguar, which is nowadays Indian.
Hi, my name is Cor, and welcome to my channel, Driving With Gloves. I always drive with driving gloves. Your question might be, why does he drive with gloves? And my answer is, why not? Already in 1966, Sir William Lyons decided to merge Jaguar with BMC, which became thereafter British Leyland. In 1989, however, the American Ford company bought Jaguar and Aston Martin. After almost 20 years of building the XJS, Ford decided to update the XJS and to develop a successor for this model, but Jaguar wasn't happy with it, so it became instead an Aston Martin DB7. In the middle of the 1990s, Jaguar made for the first time under Ford Win. This was due to the XJ40 and the beautiful XJS successor, the XK8, which looked a bit like the legendary E-Type. But at one point, Ford decided to make Jaguar a high-volume car builder, so they introduced the X400 model. And this episode of Driving With Gloves is about the top model of the Jaguar X400.
So the car I'm going to review today is a Ford Mondeo, as many people say. But I will show you that it is absolutely nonsense, because the people who think that it is a rebadged Ford Mondeo are totally missing the point and ignore the importance of this Jaguar model. Because the Jaguar X-Type is the model that saved Jaguar and the reason that Jaguar still exists. But why is the Jaguar X-Type seen as a rebadged Ford Mondeo? It has to do with the platform it is based on.
The CDW architecture was developed over 6 years, costing $6 billion at the time of its 1993 launch. Derived from the Mazda GE platform, the CDW27 was used for the Ford Mondeo Mark I. The second generation Ford Mondeo used the second generation CD162 platform. From this platform, the third generation CD132 derived in the year 2000 and was used for the Ford Mondeo Mark III, but was also used for the Jaguar X-Type from 2001. So the Jaguar X-Type was developed on a platform which was also used by the Ford Mondeo Mark III. But the platform was modified because the Ford Mondeo was only a front-wheel drive car and the new X-Type was Jaguar's first all-wheel drive car. So the X400 was a revolutionary car for Jaguar. So the X-Type is not in the least a rebadged Ford Mondeo. The Aston Martin DB7, which I already mentioned, on the other hand, which was still built until 2004, was actually an old Jaguar XJS. And if you look at the first supercar in the world, the Lamborghini Miura, no one would say that it is a Fiat, although parts of the cheap Fiat 850 Spider were used in the Miura as well. But which Lamborghini owner would drive a Fiat 850, so they simply didn't notice it?
On the other hand, you could say that this top-of-the-range model X400 Jaguar I'm driving today is a Porsche-based vehicle, and I'm going to explain to you why.
Oh no, not a Porsche again. How I hate these slow Porsche drivers. They drive a fast car and they can't drive. Come on, move it! Move it! Come on, turn to the right, please. Come on, move it! Yes! Now I can show the people how this Jaguar with a Porsche heart drives. Although Ford has a huge tradition with V6 engines, we only need to remember the famous Essex lump from the 1960s. The Duratec V6 engine was originally a Porsche design. The Duratec V6 was purchased by Ford, with Cosworrh finishing the engineering to suit Ford's needs. One notable addition is the use of variable valve timing (VVT), but Jaguar developed it even further. The Jaguar AJV6 engine has an aluminium engine block, and Jaguar designed aluminium double overhead cam cylinder heads. It uses sequential fuel injection, has 4 valves per cylinder with VVT, features fracture split forged powder metal connecting rods and a one-piece cast camshaft, and has direct acting mechanical bucket tappets. These design aspects differentiating the AJV6 from the Ford and Mazda Duratec versions.
You see, the Jaguar X-Type is not a Ford Mondeo at all.
Let's have a look at the interior. Have you ever seen a Ford Mondeo with such a beautiful interior? The finest cream Conolly leather was used in this car, so all the components are there to make the X-Type a luxurious car for a good price. Like in the good old Jaguar tradition. The X-Type drives very smooth, the engine is very silent but is strong enough for the car. Except regarding the top speed and image, you must overthink if a Bentley Continental Flying Spur from the same period is so much better. And even the newest Bentley Flying Spur Hybrid uses a 3-liter V6 engine. So now it becomes clear to me why it was Queen Elizabeth's choice all the way. For her, even this hook was made to hang her handbag.
The nicest gadget of this car is the hidden phone in the central console. I'm starting to feel like Jonathan Hart from this TV series Heart to Heart.
If you look at the car, it might be smaller than other Jaguars before 2001, but the design nailed it. The front of the X400 is all the way like you want the Jaguar to look. It has the same eyes as a Jaguar Mark X or XJ6 series. It really makes this Jaguar a Jaguar. Interestingly, the X400 models uses a speedometer that starts at 10 km an hour instead of 20 km an hour, which is more common for speedometers in kilometers an hour. I love the design of the gauges, it looks very refined. A unique feature of the Jaguar X400 is that it has electric front window heating. This is due to the fact that during the development of the car, Ford was the owner of Jaguar. Ford patented this front window heating system, so you will not find it in cars of other car brands. So, is it a Ford Mondeo after all? The purpose of the X400 was to get a foot in the door in the market of saloon cars from Mercedes and BMW underneath the S-Class and 7 Series. The Ford marketing strategy was not very wise to tell the press it used a Mondeo platform, so it was not comparable anymore with, for example, an E-Class Mercedes-Benz. Further, initially they were only selling the X-Type with all-wheel drive and with petrol engines, all things which did not make the X-Type a giant success story. But nonetheless, it became the best-selling Jaguar until then.
So what do I think about this Jaguar? Well, I think it is a real Jaguar, not a rebadged Ford Mondeo. It drives excellent, the cabin looks wonderful, and even exterior still has this classic Jaguar look. And in a country like Switzerland, where there is a lot of snow, the all-wheel drive system is highly recommendable. But would it be a car I would buy for myself? Probably not, because it consumes an enormous amount of petrol. It has electronic problems all the time. The warning lights in the gauge cluster are flashing up all the time like candles in a Christmas tree. But besides that, you get a hell of a good looking car for little money. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Driving with Gloves about the non-Ford Mondeo, the Jaguar X-Type 3.0 V6 all-wheel drive. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to my YouTube channel Driving with Gloves. See you soon in a new episode of Driving with Gloves.